Hey, here we go. Hello, everyone. It's June 22nd, and I'm David Baker, and I'm here talking to my friend and colleague, Will Lambert. And Will's always a great guy to check in on a number of things. But one of the things that's interesting that I enjoy talking to Will about is his take on real estate. And right now, Will is in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Will, what's happening with real estate in Santa Fe, New Mexico?
Yeah,
Talk to
there's quite a bit happening. One, it's raining outside, which is that's odd. So that's something that we're dealing with in real estate right now. Had a yard flood, get muddy, today. So that was great. But
Santa Fe is not used to that.
we're not used to that. I think the last report was like 78 days since rain started a couple days ago. So yeah, that's been nice. Yeah. So what I would say is we're starting to see a bit of a slowdown here in Santa Fe. One of the markets I gauge a lot on is the market of 500,000 and below. Single family homes is what I take a look at to kind of get the pulse of what's going on. Of course, Santa Fe's got houses all the way up into the millions, but this gives us a good idea of the pulse of what's going on. So I've got some updated numbers from actually just a little bit ago. To share with you guys and let you know kind of my thoughts of where the market's heading and where we're at currently.
So 500 and below, what kind of things are you seeing there when you run those numbers and run those reports?
Yeah, so 500 and below in Santa Fe right now. There's now don't laugh, okay? There's 11 homes for sale. Single family homes under 500,000 in the city of Santa Fe. There's 11. And 5 of those were listed basically this week within the last 4 days. So there's basically nothing to choose from if you're looking for a single family home in town. So which is troubling. We've been seeing numbers like this for a long time, but now we're starting to see a bit of a shift. I think over the last few months, we've been seeing a little bit longer days on market, not so many offers. Instead of 8, maybe there's 3, maybe there's just 1. So that's kind of the troubling thing there. If you were to back out the 5 listings that just hit the market this week, there's a total of 6 available as of last week, and with an average days on market of 24, which is something much higher than we've seen recently. And actually
Almost double, right?
Yeah,
Twice the amount of time to sell a house.
correct. Yeah. So kind of to back that out a little bit is if we go to the sold properties within the last month, which is back to May 22nd of 22, which means they were actually under contract in April, more than likely on a 30-day close, right? So then there's 29 homes that have been sold in the last 30 days. Okay. At 500 and below. And the average days on market for those 29 were 10. So basically in the last 2 months, we've gone from 10 days sold to 6 listings on the market for 24. So it's definitely gone up. That's 2 weeks more over the last 2 months. If we want to talk,
there's less to choose from, and it's taking twice as long.
And twice as long. Correct. Yeah. And we can mix in the pendings, right? So right now there's 66 pending properties, which means they're under contract. And that's at that same level, 500 and below. There's 66 of them right now with an average day on market of 16. So, if they've been under contract now, they could have been, within the last 30 days, but still taking longer than it did just last month. So everything's taking a little bit longer. Things are sitting around a little bit. Properties that are priced correctly or in certain areas, I'm sure they're still, getting multiple offers and selling above list. That's the other thing too to think about. Out of those 29 properties that sold in 10 days, they were averaging 101, basically 101, 102% of list price. So they were still going over asking, but just not, just right a little bit above it.
So if you're a buyer or a seller right now, or you're a real estate broker, what do we think?
Yeah, it's interesting times, right? I think that I think if you're a buyer, I think you need to be prepared to sit in your house for a little bit. Um, I don't know, what the future holds. It is ticking down. How far? I don't know how that's going to go, but I think that if you're looking to, buy a home and sell it within a year or two, I think you might be facing some trouble as far as value holding. If you're
In
if
other
you're
words, what you're saying is we're starting to see a leveling off or a cooling off, and those people that jump on the train right now might have benefit compared to those who wait a year to do it if you're selling.
Yeah, I mean, right. One of the things they always say, right? When's the best time to buy real estate? 5 years ago. I still believe that. I'm just saying that if you're in a house now, you might have some value issues if it's within a year or two. I really think that it's going to take some time for it to correct and get back up. So, but most people are buying a home to live in and raise a family in, or retire in, or whatever that may be. So in that aspect, you need a place to live and buy real estate. I just think that I think you got to be careful if you're looking into this, like, you know a year or two out. I think you got to look further. I think you got to look further out to be okay in the market.
Okay. What about seventh level realty? How are you guys approaching this now?
Yeah. So, one of the things that we've done as a company is, we're completely 100% virtual now. So, um, which has been awesome. I mean, with the COVID, everything is moved that way anyway. And we were close even before COVID to being virtual anyway. And so,
I think there was a report in the Wall Street Journal just in the last couple of days that vast majority of people returning to offices or offices, there's a vast majority of offices that are still empty because people aren't returning to the office, right? So
right.
you're talking about the cost of operating a real estate company when you have a lot of real estate holdings. And as you and I have talked in the past, most real estate offices are mostly not used most of the time.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a major problem. I think,
If you're paying a rent. Now, on the other hand, if you own a
right.
building and it's just it's an asset, that's a different story. But for companies that
Right.
are expanding and contracting and moving and adding support staff and brokers and peeling them off,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah. I
different
think
time.
you want to be lean. That's the main ticket. I think is you want to be lean and be able to adapt to current situations and the way that everything's changing. Right. I mean, if you look just pre-COVID, I mean, who would have ever thought that the world was going to shut down, right? And so you need to be able to adapt and move. And anybody that's heavy and has trouble moving it, they're going to suffer when there's major shifts that happen. You
Do
got
you
to be
think we're
lean.
looking at a major shift? Do you think this is a major shift coming?
Well, I think there's a lot of things going on and a lot of factors, not just real estate. I mean, real estate is a piece of what's happening. When you have the stock market and you have inflation and you have all these different moving parts, whether it's the war in Ukraine and Russia and all the chaos going on, there's a lot of moving parts, and real estate is a portion of that. And so whether or not the real estate market gets drilled in the next year or so, however long that is, there's other stuff that could affect it,
Well,
outside of.
we had a kind of a growing real estate market, and then we had COVID, and COVID turned a lot of people loose from major companies in the Bay Area and the tech industry. And those people who could get out of San Francisco or get out of Denver or get out of wherever they were able to buy Sprinter vans and to kind of hit the road and do a co-work on wheels. But now that COVID's going away or is not as profoundly impacting the real estate market, is that part of what's bringing this market down?
Yeah. And, you know, I mean, we were running hot for a long time and everything
Before COVID.
before COVID, you know, I mean, I can remember people just being in the office and saying like, oh my God, this market is just unbelievable, you know, and then it really became unbelievable, you know. So, you know, everything goes up and down. So you just got to be ready to make the move. I think the hardest thing, obviously, for buyers on this end is right now is the interest rates. Um, Anyone that's still out there shopping, you know, inventory's ticking up, which is great. They're going to have a better choice of product. You know, not long ago, you didn't have a choice. One hit the market and you knew you had to write an over asking offer and you had 36 hours to do it at best. So now they're going to have a better opportunity at finding a home. On
Okay,
the
one
selling,
more. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, and then on the selling point, you know, with things with more inventory coming up, so buyers have more options. You know, they have to be able to adapt as well to you know, not getting those flying way over asking prices, and you know that was happening 6 months ago.
Do,
And
do you think there's a chance here that people who there was all this excitement about buying real estate that people may have overbought real estate, and now part of what's happening is people are going to be in a situation where they overbought and now that's going to deflate things?
yeah, you know, it's interesting with the overbought. Even if you did quote unquote overpay for a property, you know, it's on paper, right? And so, like I was saying, is that you may have to sit for a while, you know, to for the paper to come back. You know, you still have a home, you know, that you loved at that time, right? Um, so on paper, yeah, you might be what they say underwater, right? But not in reality. You
But you
own your
still
home.
have a place to live.
You still have a place to live. And now, if you try to
Hopefully
sell
you're
it,
making the payments or you're able to afford that place to live.
right, and if you sell it during that time, yeah, you might take a loss, right? But if you have the ability to hold on to it, I mean, it's still going to be just fine. You like it's just on paper.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about what's going on at Seventh Level Realty. What are you guys doing that's different and interesting and
Well,
new?
it's yeah. I mean, you know, we got a tight knit team, of course. You know, like that's the number one thing, right? We operate our brokerage as like a team. You know, everyone's really tight. We make sure that everyone's getting the help they need, whether it's another broker showing for somebody else, or just being able to get a hold of me directly. You know, so we operate real tight, real close. I talk to my brokers all the time, and that's our main thing that we've been doing is
Now, every brokerage that I'm familiar with likes to talk about how well everybody gets along, and we're all so close. And
yeah, yeah.
I haven't met a brokerage that hasn't like had that pitch, and yours sounds a little bit like that. Is yours different in some
Well,
way?
I've been in a lot of those places too, so yeah, I guess maybe the pitch is I might have ripped that pitch off. I don't know. I gotta reevaluate that pitch, because I might have took that from a couple people I can think of.
I think at one point you told me that um, you were functioning as a team.
Yeah,
So I guess maybe one of the principles that you're operating from is that you're smaller, you're virtual, there's these larger models like EXP. You're a smaller virtual company, and everybody knows everybody, and perhaps it's cohesive. I'm not sure.
yeah.
Um, but operating it like a team, right? You're an athlete, so it seems to me that you guys operating like a team makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense. It's funny you bring up the pitch, you know, because now that I'm thinking about it, it sounds really funny. Um,
There's two things that every brokerage does. They all get along They love each other. They get along really well.
Sure.
The other thing is they give their brokers as much money as possible.
Yeah, right. We're
Every
just like
broker's.
we're just like everybody else. Yeah.
But you're different.
Put us
I know
down for
you're
that.
different.
Put
I
us
know
down
you're
for
different. So tell me some more. Tell me some more things about how you're different.
that. That's funny, dude. Oh, that is awesome. This makes me think of something here real quick. Let me just stop here for a second. This makes me think of something I was reading on one of my real estate boards, or I don't know what it was, a post or something like that. And it was about leaving a company. The person left a company that they had been with for a while. And they said something along the lines of like, you guys can still talk to me. Like, it's okay to be my friend. We're not in a gang, you know? And I just find that really funny. I've experienced some stuff like that. And I just, what I find so interesting about it is that we are independent contractors, right? That happen to hang a license somewhere. We don't work for anybody. We may hang our license at, ABC, XYZ, whatever, but in fact, we all work for ourselves. And so it's just really funny how the
color of your office,
the
of your
color of your
sign,
office
the color
really
of your
matters.
the color of your sign.
Yeah, and one day you can be flying high and change the color, and all of a sudden you don't have anything over there, no friends, nothing. Like,
people stop talking to you.
Out. Yeah.
People stop talking to you.
People stop talking.
Really? People stop talking to you because you changed the color of your sign?
That's right. Yep.
And you buy the sign, right? You pay for that.
You pay for the sign.
Right?
Yeah, you pay for the sign.
So it's kind of somebody else's color on your sign with your name that you build a relationship and you put in someone's yard.
That's right. Yeah. And so that's why I thought it was really interesting that they related it to being in a gang, because that's, I really resonated with me. I was like, wow, that's exactly how it is. Like, if you are in it, like, you're in, like,
if
that's
you change, it. you what's that called when you get inducted into a gang? There's a street term for it. Can't remember what it is, but
in or something, right?
But once you're initiated, somehow initiated. I mean, I'm trying to imagine what the initiation is like at real estate companies, like hugs, like you get 62 hugs and then I don't know, but something like that, right?
Yeah. So we're just like that. 7th level is just like that. We're,
But how are you different? That's what I want to know. I want to know, what are the things. So you're virtual, you're small, you try to function as a team. What makes you different?
You're gonna have to edit this up. We're gonna see how good you are.
Oh no, let's leave this unedited, because I'll tell you one way that you're different. You're unbranded. You don't have a moniker, and we know all the names in real estate, on your signs.
We are unbranded.
You're unbranded.
Yeah.
You're unbranded. And how's that working? How's that working? What's the reality with that? How's that working for you?
Well, it's been working great, and so, one of the big things is, and I had looked at early on was, becoming a part of a big brand, and, you can go and study all you want and look at all the numbers you want. And it really comes down to the person. Even NAR talks about brands and how a very, very small percentage of business comes from being a part of a big brand or a brand at all. So
it's kind of like comfort protection, right? Like if I have a badge on that is something that everybody recognizes, it's kind of like, hey, I am somebody, right? So we could think of it as like protection, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good way of putting it. It doesn't make any phone calls for you.
You still have to go solicit your own business.
You still have to solicit your own business.
So
because you work for yourself.
We're drawing a comparison. You're working on the street. You have an affiliation with some brand or somebody, and they provide you protection, but basically you have to generate your own business.
That's right. Yeah, you get provided the protection. You get whatever.
Protection is very loose, by the way.
Very loose, very loose, kind of our gang reference. But no, but the fact of the matter is, you have to run your business, right? You have to pay your bills. You have to make your phone calls. You have to still do the things in real estate, whether you're with XYZ or ABC or who knows who. But you still have to practice real estate. Does not matter.
I think what those large entities would say to what you're saying right now is we have the systems and the processes in place. So all we do is plug you into our mothership, and you're getting nutrients, you're getting fed off the mothership, but you're free to fly on your own. However, in your case, what's the reality of that? Do
Yeah,
you
I find it interesting, and I see the big models. I get it. I totally understand them, and have been a part of them. I think that I think it's not for everybody, right? I think there's plenty of people that fit right in and plug right in, and it's home, and I'm all for it, right? I think everybody needs a home. Not everybody's cut out to be on their own, or they need more support. They need this, they need that.
Right. I mean, really, every broker is different.
Every broker.
Every broker, there's not a boilerplate.
Right. And
And
so,
and we
whether
like to
that's,
think there is. We like, oh, this, and then we do that. It doesn't really seem to be reality, is it?
well, no. And what works for Dave might not work for me, and what I do may not work for you. And you just got to find your home, and there's plenty of them. Luckily, there's plenty of them to choose from.
There's a lot of places.
There's a lot of places you will find your home. I have found mine. I've tried a couple different places. I have definitely found mine.
A few.
a few, and all great experiences. I learned a bunch. I've taken a bunch. I've left a bunch of stuff, that I've learned, that has worked for me and that didn't work for me. And that's how I came up, up with this seventh level. And I've taken pieces from everywhere I've been and everyone I've talked to. I've taken pieces of all that and put it together of something that works for me. And the people that are at my brokerage, it works for them, and I get to plug them into my system and how I do things.
You feel like your system is more flexible?
I feel that my system is nimble, and I think that
And is it a system or is it a value?
well, dang it, Dave Baker. It's awesome.
It seems like it's a value. I mean, I think I know you're talking about a system, and you and I spent a lot of time talking about different systems in real estate and different companies and what works and what doesn't. But it sounds like it's a value. Like one of the values of seventh level is flexibility, right?
Yeah.
Modularity, really.
Right. And one of the things too that I've felt too that we've done is we've just leaned ourselves down. There's so many different bells and whistles in real estate that you can get, and we have it down very simple. Simple, not easy, right? I thought you might like that one, but
I like that one.
But yeah, we've pared it down. We have a simple CRM, easy to use, and the website, it all connects, but it's very simple. You don't have to get into these big programs or anything like that. Everything is just right at your fingertips, and it seems to really work.
Do you remember we were once at a class and there was a high producing broker there, and the question came up, what's the best CRM? And when we say CRM, we're talking about consumer resource management, or also known as customer relation management software, which basically is just a database that keeps track of everybody that you're talking to, that you're engaging with. And so anyway, you may remember this broker said, what's the best CRM? And then everybody started firing off their favorite package. And this guy said, those are all great, but it's the one you use.
Yes.
And you know what that said to me is, is it could be pen and paper, it could be your iPhone, it could be whatever it is, but it's what you do consistently every day,
That's right.
you know?
100%. And so, yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Use what you use. We have a system in place. Obviously, if you would like to use it, you can. Um, and
I think modularity is key, Will. I think, flexibility and modularity, because every broker has a different way of business. And if you come at like, you got to plug into the mothership this way, you're going to lose people.
Right. And then you're going to lose people, or you're going to have people that adopt it. Right. I mean,
And
I
you're
think
going
of
to have
it.
people who really plug in and don't move.
That's
And
right. And I think of it as the
it's
ecosystem,
both.
right, of Apple, right? It's like once you're in this ecosystem, like that's it, you're in, man. You know, I'm talking on my iPhone, I've got you on my iMac, like I you're in. I'm in
iCalendar,
iTunes, I've got
iPhone, iMovie, iMac.
yeah, you're in. Like I
Right.
get it. It's hard to get out, right? It's hard to get out. Once you're in, it's hard to get out. And so I just think the flexibility, hey, listen, we have this. If you want to use it, absolutely do it. We'll train you on how to use it. If not, I totally get it. Do what's best for you. So
Okay. Well, always good to catch up with you, Will, and hear about some of
here's
your
about
thoughts.
something, right?
Hear about some of Will Lambert's thoughts and ideas.
Oh man.
And thanks a lot for your time today. Any parting shots you want to leave us
Yeah,
with?
I want to say, what do I want to say? I still have a lot to say, Dave.
Well, give me a topic. Give me a topic. What's a topic you want to talk about still?
Well, I just think that I think there's going to be some struggles coming, man, and I just,
Absolutely.
I want it's going to get rough, I think, man, and
I was talking to somebody from one of the major real estate corporations yesterday, and they said the same thing, that that they see a lot of brokers turning in their licenses. They see a lot of challenge coming for leads in terms of where business comes from. Is
right.
that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of pain, and I think it's interesting because we are all working together in a sense to sell real estate. We're all independent contractors working by ourselves. I just think that the thing to remember here is that there's going to be people in pain in our industry, in our business, and to be the most professional you can be, and just know that you do not know the situation that other person's in, and I think things are just going to get tough on people.
Let's take that to the consumers, right? To people who want to buy a house, who need a place to live in. It's already there there's a whole section of our society. And this is not just in one city, this is across the board, that are priced out.
Yeah.
They can't buy it. They have jobs. They work every day. I can name names of people like this. They cannot buy a house.
Right. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah, they've been priced out over the last couple of months, not because of anything they've done. They're still, like you said, go to work, pay their bills. They're making their income. Nothing has changed, and all of a sudden they just can't do it anymore. They're completely out of the market. And and just to dive back in real quick here in Santa Fe, one of the in our $500,000 range, we're looking at the most affordable, which I'm talking about affordability as far as the lowest price, list price, is at $395,000. And that same buyer in January, that of what they can afford now, they were able to afford 450 in January, maybe 460 in January, and now they're under 400. And so it's just there's a lot of pain out there, and I hate to sound, just be kind. Be kind.
Yeah, okay, I get that. And also I think that pressure creates change. So I think that we don't know what's going to happen. And when a system is not working and there's pressure, eventually there's a breach, and something is going to change. And that's, we're seeing that now in interest rates. We're seeing that in the way real estate is conducted. We're seeing that in the commercial real estate, in terms, we're seeing how people use offices and use their homes. Everything
Right.
has really changed. So also, when you're in pain, it's also, and we've all been there, it's thinking about how I can do things differently.
Right.
It's going back to your core creativity and source of those deep things that matter to you, and trying to find a way, a path.
Yep. Yeah. So that was, that one's been weighing on me just because I've been seeing it, and
You see it every day.
yeah, I see it every
You
day.
see it every day, and we're probably going to see more of it. So great to acknowledge that reality. There's a perception of people in real estate who drive 250 or $100,000 cars and live in expansive houses and are very fortunate, and that does exist in real estate, but that's not most of what we know
Right.
in real estate. What's surprising to me as I've kind of dug into real estate is that there are a few people, you meet them, who are honest, transparent, working towards a common goal for their clients. They're communicative, they're responsive, they don't live on a, they're not on a pedestal, they're just like hardworking people. And that's always refreshing to see. And and there's a lot of creative people I've discovered too in real estate. And that's also very refreshing to see. So thanks a lot, Will.
Absolutely, buddy. Good seeing you.
All right.
All right, man.
Take care. Bye bye.